Hey guys, it's Dr. Kurt Bravata here, author of Live Free or Diet, a holistic guide to finding faith, freedom, and abundant life. I want to tell you my theory on how I resolved my lactose intolerance. So first off, I want to let you know that I am not lactose or casein allergic, so I do not have an allergy to dairy products. I have an intolerance to dairy products, which caused gastrointestinal symptoms, which could be pretty severe, enough to where I, for years, wouldn't even eat even the smallest amount of dairy. So I've been suffering with these symptoms for about 20 years. It all started shortly after I was septic with Staph aureus, MRSA, which was resistant to methicillin. I had been on 6 weeks of intravenous antibiotics with vancomycin, and over a period of years, I developed a number of problems related to eating, causing a number of GI issues. And I lived in Mexico for a couple of years and developed some bacterial overgrowth, which affected my gastrointestinal tract. And for years, I'd been trying to resolve this. And so I would do so by limiting dairy intake and would take probiotics. I tried yogurt, but yogurt would always seem to trigger my symptoms. Even Greek yogurt was a problem. So I would just limit myself to lactose-free dairy. But, it wasn't very easy because there's so many products that have dairy in them. And so at any point, my symptoms could be triggered. Well, what I found was while I would take over-the-counter probiotics, if I was on them, my symptoms would be somewhat better. And there would be times where it would seem that I was recovering, but never fully. And I had tried a couple of courses of a prescription called Xifaxan, which treats bacterial overgrowth syndrome in the intestinal tract. And I did find some benefit with that. I would take herbal anti-inflammatories and reduced my intake of grains and lectins. Lectins come from nightshade plants, and would limit myself to lactose-free dairy. And for the most part, I would do okay, but there were times where I would have flare-ups, and I was always afraid to eat dairy products because the symptoms were oftentimes debilitating, sometimes keeping me up all night. So recently I'd been listening to some health experts and reading some material about carnivore diets. In the past, I'd experimented with some elimination diets, like the Whole30 diet, which I found some benefit from, but nothing long-lasting. And so I had some people had recommended trying some A2 raw milk, which tends to be better digested in people with lactose intolerance. I tried that and I did pretty well with that. I was pretty impressed. And then I decided to do a carnivore diet. And so I took 2 weeks of eliminating all non-animal products from my diet, and all I ate was meat, dairy, and eggs. And I even eliminated artificial sweeteners and avoided processed foods, and during that time, I ate Greek yogurt. This was unsweetened Greek yogurt every single day. And I would eat it in the morning, I'd eat it as a snack, I'd eat it for dessert in the evening. And I started to increase my intake of other dairy products just little by little. I'm not really thinking I was going to resolve my lactose intolerance. I was really doing this just for general health purposes and trying to lose a little bit of weight. You know, as you know from my book, Live Free or Diet, my whole program is based on sustainability and making changes in your life that produce long-term results and breaking that cycle of binging and purging. So, anyway, I was amazed. Over these 2 weeks of being on a strict carnivore diet, my energy levels gradually increased. My mental clarity improved. My muscle mass became stronger. My endurance increased. And overall, I just felt better. So after this diet, I started introducing some other foods, but mainly have been maintaining a fairly ketogenic diet. And I have been gradually introducing various dairy products that before would have caused symptoms immediately. And so as of today, I had 2 pieces of cheesecake. Now, I'm not recommending cheesecake as a regular dietary option, but I wanted to see, because when I was a kid, cheesecake was my favorite. And I have not had cheesecake in many years, and I wanted to see how I would do if I ate cheesecake. And I said, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. And so I had 1 piece and felt fine, so I had another. And I'm feeling great. And I am not saying that everyone should use the regimen that I've used, but I will say this. To understand how lactose intolerance develops, you need to understand how the gut biome works, right? So we have this natural mucosa, which coats the inside of our intestines and helps protect our gut from absorbing things that should not be in our body. We absorb the things that are nutritional, and we are meant to exclude the things that are potentially harmful. Well, if you have a disruption in your natural gut flora, the mucosa lining can be degraded, and over time you develop inflammation in your intestinal tract, and that causes disruption of these gap junctions in your cells that allow your gut to absorb things that should not be absorbed. And this causes increased inflammation. These byproducts, these toxins, are absorbed into your body. They cause chronic fatigue, joint pains, gastrointestinal symptoms, which could be nausea, diarrhea, constipation, all the things that you associate with irritable bowel syndrome. And the key is to normalize your gut environment. And what I found in doing the carnivore diet is you're eliminating lectins, which are natural inflammatory agents that are on nightshade plants. You're eliminating all the pesticides, which like glyphosate, which cause inflammation and disruption of your normal gut environment. And you're removing all the inflammatory seed oils, all the inflammatory grains, And also, you are eliminating high fructose corn syrup, which is also inflammatory. And you are starving the yeast in your gut. So carbohydrates, sugar, feed yeast. So if you starve them by going on a carb elimination diet, you're allowing your gut to heal itself, and you are resetting your gut biome. But one of the keys in this process was that I was eating yogurt every day. And I was eating yogurt which has, natural live active cultures. This was repopulating my gut. And it worked. It really worked. So I hope this teaches you something, and I hope it helps you. There's a lot more that I could say, but I think this gives you just a brief overview of the success that I've had, and I hope that you find similar success in your road to good health. Have a great day. Be well.